Hello, it's me RJB, and today we're back again with more entertainment to entertain you during your lockdown. So first a message, I hope you're all safe and not getting sick. And if you do get sick, I hope it's nothing too serious. That's something I want to get out of the way. And yeah, look what we've got here. It's 458, and he's playing the Terran. You're on the top right of the map. That's something you'll often see. 458 on the Terran. It's honestly quite rare. So it's hard to really get a grasp on how good he is on that race. Although here on the other side of the map, we've got Minchul playing on the name SDFSDLKFJSDLKFJ. And because that's way too hard to pronounce, we're just gonna call him Minchul. That's way easier. Way easier. Because I don't want to get tongue tangled, which I already often do I already am often tongue tangled. So we're just gonna call him Minchul. That's very easy. And as we can see, he's doing some wacky, crazy ass build where he's scouting with 2 drones right from the start, and he hasn't made a pull yet. He's just going to go for that drone harass on the SV, but it's not really getting much results because the SV moved in between the 2 barracks, so he can't really get in there. He's gonna try to keep it up nonetheless. Some pretty sweet micro, honestly. Pew pew pew! Look at that drone go, moving around and around. There's the hatchery. I think this is one of those cases where Minchul believes, and this is honestly just him being very arrogant, where he's underestimating his opponent quite severely. Because he's pulling off 2 drones and then going for a standard build. So he's kind of saying that I don't need those 2 drones, I don't need that extra economy, I can do just fine with a little bit less. That's why he sent out those 2 drones and why he tried to do some harassment. He killed a single SCV, but that single SCV is definitely not worth the amount he's got slowed down by. So let's see if he can turn this into... what he can do with this. What he can do with those 2 less drones mining minerals and probably being slowed down by about 20 to 30 seconds on his entire build order. And see how he manages to turn this into something. So yeah, the pool is on the way here, almost finished up. He's got 2 drones there on the gas, maybe 3 drones on the gas there. Yeah, 3 drones on the gas, of course. 1 SCV, 1 drone dies. So 458 got some payback. No Zerglings on the way yet. Marines are moving out, trying to look for the kill here on Minchul, but he's making a creep colony just in time as he spots the Marines moving in with the Overlord. And you got the Zerglings on the way as well. 2 pairs of Zerglings for a total of 4 bunker being made there on the bottom side. He's got enough for Zergling speed, but he doesn't want to invest in Zergling speed just yet. There it is, because he wants to have those minerals for the Sunkens. See the Marines there setting up at the bottom. Drones moving in. Sunken is finished up. He gets an instant kill on all the drones, on all the Marines there. That's a great shot. Kills the bunker as well. Marines to the bunker also going to get surrounded as he has to pull back. Marine has to pull back as well. And he manages to untangle himself from that very bad situation seemingly rather easily. So now the game is gonna really be starting. 458 started with 2 barracks. He's got an academy already finished up. He's got stim upgrade on the way. No fire bats in the way yet. He's going for medics instead, adding 2 barracks as well. Only on a single gas, adding more depots into the mix because he needs the extra supply space to have sufficient supply for the 2 extra barracks that he's going to be making there. SV there still on the bottom. More Zerglings are spawning and on the way. SV there still getting information. Looks like he's going all in on a Zergling strategy, and honestly that's quite good at the moment because 458 lost a lot of Marines there to that rush attempt that kind of failed, but also 2 firebats already finished up for 458, so he should be fine unless those Zerglings get microed so extremely well. He can get some real results with it. Tries to go in, sees it as firebats, ooh, he splits them up, that's quite nice. Goes for the depot. Depot is not going to go down, of course. He loses a single firebat, single Zergling, and not much is achieved. But the upside is, though, with those Zerglings here out in the middle of the map, are keeping 458 contained for at least a couple, maybe 20 seconds more. And that's when 458 can decide to move out. 458 is taking it safe, taking it slow. Minchul's going for the lair. He's going for the Hydralisk den. Of course, a little bit delayed, but he should, or he might, get his lurkers up in time. All depends on whether 458 is quick enough to match Minchul's build, which he should be, because he's a very fast player, as you can see, already on 400 APM, not really hovering any minerals. Zerglings are sneaking in. Zerglings here are trying to distract, but he's not really being that much of a pain in the ass. More Zerglings coming down to protect the lair. He's got himself covered there. Zerglings now in the base, trying to pick up whatever is spawning. 458 instead just focusing on the attack here, but a lot of Zerglings have just spawned. He should be capable of holding this attack with those Zerglings and with those Sunkens there. So this is just going to clear up and get 458 supply stuck after he kills the depot. 458 still bottling up his units, has no factory yet. He's going in here on the bottom side, trying to kill the drones with the fire bats, but not succeeding because there's two Sunkens there in the mix, as well as a couple of Zerglings ready to zone those Marines away from the drone. But he goes once in, back again, kills a Sunken, but it's now going to get surrounded. No, he doesn't get surrounded because Minchul knows he can't go in once those Marines pull back. Instead, he's going to wait for more Zerglings to arrive on the scene. He goes in, gets surrounded on the Marines, and the Marines are going to go down very, very quickly because damn, that surround is effective. And somehow Minchul is playing, is managing to do miracles with only 2 hatcheries and a very small economy, because only on 18 drones so far. There's 458 on 25. I think he lost about 2 in total, maybe 3. So he got slowed down a tiny bit, but he's planning on boosting his economy because he's adding on a command center there. He's finally also getting an engineering bay to account for those lurkers that are going to be coming soon. Lurker aspect is finished, so 2 lurkers are on the way. Engineering bay is almost finished up as well, so he will get a turret there in the front just in time. Firebats Marines there in the front, keeping those Zerglings out of the base. 5 barracks, that's a lot of barracks, and I'm not entirely sure how the heavy barrack build is going to work into those lurkers. Doesn't have a scan yet. Turrets being made here in the front, finally. Firebats chasing the Zerglings, Marines chasing the Zerglings as well. Lurkers have burrowed up there in the front. Still no scan. Is he gonna walk into those lurkers? Or is he gonna go in from the bottom? Ooh, he's walking very close, just outside of the range of those lurkers. So he doesn't yet know that lurkers have finished, although I am assuming that he is assuming. Oh, he sees them there. Minchul's moving them into position. Keeps those firebats and Marines away. More Marines here on the way as well from out of his base, but now lurkers are there in the entrance, and he is keeping him. Oh, that's great. He trapped him thinking he was safe, but he wasn't. That's some real big brain stuff there. That's really smart. Either he was allying him, or he was putting them on non-stop S command where they don't attack. But that was really great stuff, really smart stuff. Having all those Marines walk into position before attacking with the lurkers. Great trap, really puts Minchul in a really good spot. That's a lot of Marines and medics and firebats at 458 just lost. I think he lost about 20 in total, 24. Yeah, probably about I'm so bad. About 28, because he had 2 groups and 4 medics. Was about 28 units there, which is absolutely humongous. It's a lot of minerals lost for him. So yeah, he's got a starboard on the way now, side facility there in the corner, second factory also on the way, siege mode on the way as well, first tank also about to be, second tank about to be rolling out. So the first tank is already there. Once again, he's moving out into the middle of the map, trying to keep Minchul away from his own front entrance, so he's not in danger. But Minchul is just buying himself time and setting up a surround on those units there that are on the middle and going to be moving out very soon. And already a hive at 910, despite the two sacrifice drones there at the start, which ruined his economy. But he's doing really well with such a small economy. Got that very fast hive. And of course, going for the Defilers. So he needs that Dark Swarm to keep the Lurker Swarm in, well, to start abusing the Lurker Swarm against those Marines, which is honestly really strong against Marines. Tanks as well. Vessels are a great counter against the Defilers. But there's only a single starport, and 408 is not yet on track. He is adding on a lot of gas there though, depots as well, so he's planning on becoming rather big and a force to be reckoned with. But until then, Minchul is just going to keep setting up his trap here on the middle. Those Zergs are on the bottom side to catch those Marines and tanks that 458 is going to be moving out with over the center, and probably going to do the same trick again where he's got them allied. And all of his units walk into position, then he unallies or he puts them off hold position and kills all those Marines once they're right on top of the lurkers. So yeah, Scorches scouting for vessels, scouting Marines there as well. Isn't finding vessels, is finding Marines though. So he's got himself some information there. Great Overlord spread as well. A lot of information there on the sides. His drone count has gone up. Overlord there died, so he's supply stuck for now. Finds a vessel, but cannot attack the vessel. The vessel is protected by the Marines quite well. 458 being very aware of what's going on. 458 is playing this very safe. He spots the two lurkers there in the front. Lurkers retreating down to the bottom side there. You got the queens there as well. Queens there as well. Wait, there comes the lurker swarm just in time. Oh, he radiated the Defiler, but the Defiler can't get its dark swarm off. Lurkers there coming into the queens coming into the mix. Queens using ensnare. I've never seen ensnare used on fastest map like this before, which means that now those lurkers can chase very easily and start killing those Marines while the Marines cannot dodge and run away from the spines. But it does look like the lurkers are gonna come out on the bottom because the Marines were... Oh yeah, the Marines just got out on top. If those Zergs here in the back got sent in as well, Minchul would have won that exchange. But as of now, it's looking like 458 barely came out on top. Never mind. Minchul comes in with the Zerglings, the Scorches as well, and kills the remainder of the units. More reinforcements already coming in from 458 there from his base. And now regains mid-control, setting those Marines and vessels in. Tanks there in the back as well. Slowly still adding onto his base. This is one of the weirdest Zerg versus Terrans, but it's honestly also one of the most exciting Zerg versus Terrans I've seen, because this is all kinds of wacky, weird, and arrogant as well, because Minchul was playing that very arrogantly, but he's also probably the second best fastest map player of all time, so it's understandable that he would be this cocky against someone whom he considers has a bad Terran. But honestly, 458 does not have a bad Terran. His Terran is looking pretty decent. But Minchul is honestly just playing an amazing Zerg, despite the handicap that he gave himself, which is very impressive. So yeah, more queens coming in, 40 ensnares. I really liking those ensnares. Vessel goes down to the two Scorches once again. Lurker Swarm there in the front just to keep 458 out. 458 already sets up a tank drop on the minerals there. There's probably a good shot here to pull it off, but he gets spotted out. Now moving forward in the front there, gets an ensnare on once again, gets the swarm down in the front. Another swarm there as well, one lurker running away in the front. Vessel tries to go in for the radiate, but he kills the vessel. I'm not sure if he saw the dropship there. Lurker there in the front gets pulled back just in time. Starts setting up another play with the lurker swarm. Though now he pulls back because he sees that there's a dropship coming in and he needs to kill that dropship. He needs to kill the tanks that are inside the dropship. But he drops right next to... Oh, he burrowed all the Zergling, the drones. He could have honestly dropped probably there or here and gotten a shot off on the drones regardless. But Minchul is very quick with the response. Saves his drones, but now vessels are coming in. Does he have Scorches? I don't see Scorches. Both vessels have radiate energy. Minchul, of course, knows they're there. Minchul is gonna burrows a lot of drones very quickly. Pretty much only 2 drones will end up dying there. I hoped this was an Overlord drop, but it's not. Instead, he's going for the middle play here. I really love that Minchul is playing a low eco Zerg style, even though it's already 14 minutes in. He's very slowly adding on a hatcheries there, though, with the excess minerals that he has. 4 Scorches going for the 2 vessels. 458 still very slowly growing bigger, but he's mostly just having trouble trying to find a good setup here against Minchul, because setup is what he needs. He has to set up, get mid control, and very slowly encroach on his opponent if he wants to win. And the Overlords that were sent out just earlier now being loaded up with lurkers. I'm going to try to look for an opening here on the side. Barracks is now being lifted up for side vision. Though he already has some side vision with those engineering base, the science vessel and the 2 barracks are on the top side. More vision about to be coming in. Does a scout with this overlord first just to see where he can go in and if there's vision there on the side and whether there are turrets here up on the hill. Well, next to the hill. 2 tanks are up on the hill. Lurker swarms thrown down all over the middle here. So he can very slowly encroach. It's basically a tug-of-war where both players are trying to encroach on the other one and get the overhead and win the fight and gain a little bit of war or, well, ground on the other one. So he finds a small little opening here for those lurkers. There's nothing here in between those overlords and the lurkers. And the minerals tanks are rolling into the back, though. Vessels rolling into the back as well. But can he pull this off? Lurkers burrowing underground as if he didn't get pulled out. As if he didn't get pulled away. And the lurkers kill most of the SCVs. But luckily for 458, he's got a huge bank. But this is going to slow him down quite significantly. Lurkers are getting killed there. But the radiates. Oh no, tanks being dropped here next to the drones for Minchul. But Minchul pulls most of his drones to safety. Does end up losing about 15 of them. But he quickly makes a new batch. So both players trading blows, but this blow was definitely in Minchul's favor. But Minchul's bank is really low, does have more drones, but 458 has 4 command centers in total. He's got a tiny bit of bank to sit on, very little gas though, which is going to be the limiting factor. But he will be able to rebuild himself pretty well within a minute time. At the same time, Minchul is planning on encroaching on those tanks there on the middle that 458 has there on the middle. Very slowly pushing forward, but didn't get the Stark Swarm off because of drop. The radiates are coming for his drones inside of his base, and Minchul has to he ends up losing. That's a disaster. That's a disaster for Minchul there. He wound up burrowing his drones a little bit too late because I think he unhotkeyed them a little bit earlier. So he winds up losing most of his drones, now back on 14 drones, only at 1,000 minerals there. But luckily for him, he can buy himself some time with those Defilers here in the front and the Lurker Swarm there. But he's not. He's not planning on buying time, instead he's loading up a drop. He's got 2 Lurkers there. Well, this is playing it very, very dangerously. He's going to fly over the bottom side of the map, look for a way into 458's base. And of course, drop those lurkers and the Dark Swarm and those Zerglings on top of the minerals. And once again, take out the SCVs. But whether it's going to work, I'm not sure, because there's Valkyries here in the base of Minchul. But Minchul is losing his Scorches by accident, which now means that 458 can go Overlord hunting. Or just hang there in the front, keep himself informed while he's waiting for vessels to arrive on the scene, although he's not making any vessels whatsoever. Overlord drop there on the bottom gets spotted out by the barracks. He's hunting for something, but not finding it. A lot of tanks are in the front. 1 lurker here in the front. 2 there in the back, not under the swarm. So he's buying himself time with the lurker swarm. But 458 spotted out these overlords. Now setting his Valkyries back to base, ready to intercept those overlords. He's got a Goliath there already as well. Tanks sieging up there around the command centers. But this is not going to work. When he unloads the lurkers, doesn't get to unload the Defiler, so he just, yeah, that one failed pretty hard. All because 458 has been doing a great job getting himself vision on the sides with those hovering buildings. But now Scorches are hunting for buildings, or hunting for Valkyries, or hunting for those dropships, because I think he saw those dropships. He finds the Valkyrie, but the Valkyrie shooting on the Scorches, and only a couple of Scorches manage to find a target. When most of the Valkyries survive, Scorches go down, and Minchul is in a really, really bad spot, even though he managed to crawl himself out of that hole at the start so damn well. But I guess that you cannot underestimate 458's Terran. Even though people say it's not that good, he is managing, looking at least, he's looking to be pulling off a win against Minchul here, who seems to be in the worst spot imaginable, and I don't think he's gonna come back from this one. It would be a miracle if he did, but load plague comes down on the tanks, with the tanks sieged up right next to the hive. They're gonna kill a bunch of stuff, but not enough stuff, because a lot of Zerglings have just spawned there for Minchul, and Minchul managed to save most of his drones as well. That plague was instant, and probably made it a bit easier, but while he's busy there in the back, 458 finds a small little hole here in the front to move forward, but there comes a Lurker Swarm there next to the tanks. He has to move his tanks up a little bit further, but the tanks are still within the range of those units there on the low ground. 2 tanks there managed to get through. They're trying to get damage on the drones. But the plan that he had failed. This game is intense, weird. Most of Minchul's Zerg versus Terrans are very, very weird to watch. He plays very weird. He plays non-stop. Even when he's behind, he's trying to pull off kill moves on his opponent. But he's holding this really well, despite being on such a ridiculously small bank. Valkyries come in. Valkyries instantly get plagued. Scourges come in, but the Scourges don't find target. A single Valkyrie goes down. Once again, tanks being unloaded here on the side. Below Minchul's hive. And this time there's tanks as well. And this time he doesn't have the units to kill the tanks. So it means the tanks can now start firing on whatever they want. Kills one drone. Zerglings now in the mix, clearing out those Dark Swarms there were amazing because it allowed a couple of Zerglings to clear out all the tanks that he got there. Once again, extends the Lurker Swarm there in the front. Forfate's base still seemingly a little bit small. He's honestly being very, very aggressive, as if he's throwing away his tanks and vessels and Valkyries. But he, against most players, he would be managing to deal some serious damage with all these attempts. But Minchul is responding so quick with those Defilers and the Zerglings and the Lurkers. The Scourges as well. He's responding so quick and handling all these attempts so damn well. His overlords, though, are getting hunted down one by the Valkyries, which is getting him supply stuck once again. Forced to invest more minerals into those overlords once again. And this looks to be the final push, because tanks up on the high ground are unstoppable. Even though Minchul fought so well, looks like 4 of 8 is going to come out on top. Hunts for the dropships, doesn't find the dropships because he isn't really focusing on those Scourges that well. He has to extend the Lurker Swarm there in the front, does so, but Valkyries once again come in to kill the overlords. Tanks now being unloaded next to the hill. Moving forward, encroaching on the Defilers. Defilers are using the Swarm, gets a Swarm down on those tanks, but there's no Lurkers there in the mix. He can't even make Lurkers, because Lurkers turn a Hydralisk from a 1 supply into a 2 supply unit. And he's got no supply room, so this is gonna be a very slow bleed out. A couple of Lurkers do finish though, that he queued up before the overlord started dying. Manages to burrow them up next to the hill, kills the tanks there on the low ground. If he gets one more swarm off close to the hill, he can probably kill those on the hill as well. Gets another Plague off on the Valkyries. There comes another swarm. Lurkers burrowing up next to the hill, which means the tanks up on the hill are going to go down. Tank there sneaks through, but not going to achieve much. Dies, but still it's always worth trying to sneak something in. And another Dark Swarm comes down to extend the life of the Lurkers there on the low ground. Once again, dropship is going to go in. Valkyrie still hunting for overlords. Is he gonna find those overlords there on the bottom? Looks like he is. Once again, a little bit painful for Minchul. Most of his overlords are now inside of his base because he had to make a lot of new ones. 4 of 8 has been managing to keep Minchul very, very small with all the abuse. And gave himself the time to comfortably set up after the abuse. Even though he's still abusing, of course, once again goes for the tank drop next to the minerals. And this time around, Minchul is not burrowing, not pulling his drones away, because he put those tanks so close to the hive that there's nowhere for those drones to run, even if you burrowed them, because you threw down the scan. And 4 of 8 winds up winning the game where Minchul started off with a handicap. But Minchul managed to fight his way back in, and then 4 of 8 managed to throw some really, really strong punches onto Minchul. 4 of 8 played this one really well. It looked so ridiculously chaotic, I have to admit. This game looked really chaotic. All of Minchul's Zerg vs Terrans look stupidly chaotic. It's very different from what we're used to seeing in Zerg vs Terran, because this is kind of... they're trying to hit the opponent from every single side imaginable. At least the Terran is trying to hit their opponent from every single angle imaginable, not giving the Zerg any rest. Minchul tried to do the same, but that one time Minchul lost his Zergling, his drones, because he was playing on such low economy build. It immediately put him behind by such a degree that 4 of 8 just had to keep hitting the beats and to play out the game. interesting game. Hope you enjoyed this one. Very chaotic. Actually, I'm gonna look for a thumbnail. I want to go for this one where all those Marines die. So let's speed that up a little bit. And see when the lurkers per... Ooh, that's a sneaky little lurker movement. Right, so let's see. Yeah, this is a nice thumbnail. Let's go for this one. A little bit to the side, right there. Yep, that's it. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.